What's up, guys? Your boy Mr. Gaming Tech back to drop that tech knowledge and tutorial for your viewing pleasure. In this video, I'm going to show you how to resurrect a non-working desktop PC so that you can make good use of it so it won't end up in our landfill. So stick around and watch, you might learn something. The project we'll be working on today involves a PC with a Core 2 dual processor inside of a ATX motherboard. These are the typical computers you'll find that have been retired for one reason or another, so it's going to be missing a lot of its components. If you notice, there is no video output on the backplate of this motherboard. So what we're going to want to do is take apart the case and we're going to look inside of the computer to see what other components we're going to need to get in order to bring this computer back to life. So upon closer inspection, you can see that the heatsink and the fan is intact. We got a peripheral in the PCI slot, and we have a floppy disk drive and a DVD drive. Other than that, there's no graphics card, there's no RAM, and there's no hard drive. So we're gonna need to obtain those components. Luckily for me, I have a few of those things lying around, and so I'm gonna go ahead and grab them right now and come back here and we'll start installing those parts. So I'm back. I got myself a Sata hard drive, 60 gigabytes worth. I got 4 sticks of RAM for a total of 3 gigabytes. These are DDR2 RAMs. So to find out what kind of RAM you're going to need for your computer, you're going to want to check the motherboard serial number. And then I got a graphics card here which will enable us to output to our display. So first things first, I'm gonna install the graphics card. So just be gentle when you are installing your card. You want to make sure that it goes into the slot properly and that it's snugly fit in there. It won't jiggle around. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll put in our RAM. If you notice, there's color. The DIMM slots are color coded, so you want to match up the RAMs that you have if they're of different speed or different capacity with the colors so that they end up being a pair. So I'm gonna put my 1 gigs in the black slot and I'm gonna put my 512 megabytes in the blue slots. So I have two 512 megabytes and two 1 gigs for a total of 3 gigabytes of RAM. Next, I'm going to make sure that the RAMs are in place and that the clips clip on to lock them in. Now I can go ahead and get my hard drive and see where we can mount it. This is a smaller hard drive than your typical desktop hard drive. This was the only thing I had lying around, so it'll work just fine. We just got to make sure that we secure it to the case so that it doesn't fall when we have it standing. So I'm gonna grab some screws. First, I'll go ahead and make sure that my graphics card is secured by screwing it into the case. And now I can go ahead and screw in my hard drive and make sure that it doesn't move around while being mounted into the case. So make sure you have the right screw size when you're mounting these so that you don't have any issues when screwing on the hard drive to the case. If the screw is too big, it's not going to fit. And if the screw is too small, it's going to be too loose and the hard drive will just fall off of where it's being mounted at. So make sure you have the right screw size. Since this is a smaller hard drive, it's a 2.5 inch hard drive as opposed to a 3.5 inch, I'm just going to be screwing on one side of the case, so I'm going to make it really tight. That way the hard drive can't fall off, that it's just snugly fit onto that side of the case that has the screw. So just make sure that when you do this, you check it afterwards that it's pretty secure, because this is a disk drive. It will cause vibration, and you don't want it to be vibrating and being loose, or else it's going to fall while you're using it. So I've securely screwed on my hard drive now, and pretty much now it's just time to plug everything in. I get my Sata drive that's connected to my motherboard already and plug that into the hard drive, and then I find the correct cable for the Sata hard drive, and I plug that into the back of the hard drive as well. Now, as far as the other wiring here, you can, if you have missing wiring or they're not plugged into the motherboard, you can always just Google the motherboard serial number so that you can figure out the diagram and where to plug them in, which pins to plug them into. But in my case, I didn't have to do that, so now I'm just going to plug in a power cord, connect a monitor to this PC. I'm not going to put the casing back on it just yet. I want to make sure that it powers up and that it posts properly before I go ahead and put the case on, or else, you know, if it doesn't work, I'll have to take the case off again, and that could be a hassle. So, you know, just plug in a power cable, plug in your monitor, and, you know, keyboard and mouse, and you're gonna need some operating system to boot into. So I got an operating system on this flash drive here, and we're gonna go ahead and see if the PC turns on. So we got a splash screen. That's a good sign. We're gonna want to go into the BIOS as soon as it launches. To, you know, since this was an older PC, we're gonna want to make sure that everything is correct with the CMOS settings. Also, I want to make sure that the USB drive is going to be the primary booting device, since we don't have anything on the hard drive yet, and we're gonna need to be installing from the USB drive. So at this point, you're gonna want to make sure that you have a image of either Windows or Linux, or in our case here, we have a image of Lakka, which is a retro gaming operating system. But feel free to use any operating system of your choice, and just follow through with the command prompts or the wizard that you're presented with if you go with a different operating system. So in this example, Lakka is actually on the flash drive. It's going to expand all the files that it needs for it to run. And when the computer reboots itself, it's going to launch Lakka off of the flash drive. This is going to be a two-part video, where in the second part I'm going to show you how to actually install Lakka onto the internal hard drive as opposed to launching it off of the flash drive. Right now we're just wanting to make sure that we're able to get this computer to work again, since, you know, it previously was a non-working PC. So there we go. We were able to launch Lakka from this machine. It's being launched from the flash drive right now. If you notice, the dashboard looks pretty similar to the PlayStation 3 dashboard or the PlayStation Portable dashboard, and ultra retro art. So you should be able to navigate around pretty easily. So that's all I have for you in this video. Catch the next part where I show you how to install this on the internal hard drive. And if you haven't done so yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell so that you can be notified when I upload the next video. Until next time, stay inside, stay safe, take care, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.